Hello! Welcome to Lab 3 during week 3 of our Intro to Remote Sensing class. I am on week 3 homepage right now, and you should have just finished watching or reading or listening to the lecture. And then now you can begin the activity for this week. So the first step was to be sure to review lecture 3 because that has a lot of the background information on the bands and Composite for ArcGIS Pro and for remote sensing in general. And then the second step is to download the Landsat 8 files. Normally you can download these, they're open to the public, and I'm going to show that because you may want to use this option for your semester project if you want to download Landsat data. So to do that, you can simply open up a new tab. You don't need to do this unless you want to, since I've provided the files, but I just want to show you. If you could just Google Earth Explorer USGS, and then you have to register and it's free. So I suggest to do that if you want to download public satellite data. And then from here, you can use the search criteria and you could search San Luis Obispo or a certain state, or you could similarly just navigate to the location on the map. So I've just typed in San Luis Obispo and let's do California. And so then I could just click this and it'll show the area on the map. And then you also have some options for additional criteria. So if I only want satellite imagery with like less than 10% cloud coverage, then I could filter through with this criteria. And if I want a date range, so I really want the most recent aerial imagery, then you could pick the last few years. Or if you want inversely something quite old, and the first satellite imagery was taken in 1972, so you could date back to that. So I'll just show you how this is done. Then the next part is picking your data sets, and there's tons of different data on here, but for this lab we're just focusing on Landsat. And then we'll do Landsat Collection 2, Level 1, Landsat 8. And let's do results. So I've already created and registered my own account, so that's why it took me to the results. But it's going to likely ask you to log in or register, and I would just go ahead and register so you're able to download these files. Again, I've provided the files on Canvas. You do not need to do this, but I wanted to show you in case you'd like to download data in the future. And then from here, you can show the footprint. So this satellite imagery is showing this footprint of the state or the area outside the county. And then you can also show browse overlay and then show the metadata. So you can find out more information on this imagery. So you could see when it was acquired, land cloud cover, and other attributes on here, sun elevation, lots more. So I've already gone ahead and downloaded the applicable files that we need for today's lab. So then the next step for you would just be to download Landsat 9 files. And I'm going to click download data, and now it will download onto your C drive. I've showed in Lab 1 2 weeks ago how to download and extract files, but I'm going to go ahead and repeat that here. This is always kind of a tricky part for my students, is downloading and extracting files and then adding it once you're in Arc Pro. So if you're not confident or comfortable at all doing that, then I would definitely reference Lab 1 video. It's on week 1 homepage, and or watch the next few steps carefully, and always pause and do it while I'm completing it. That could help as well. These are some large files that I've zipped for you, so it takes a few minutes to download. Okay, so that's completed. Now I'm going to open or show in the folder. And you can see it's downloaded in my downloads folder on the C drive. So here's my downloads folder. So you can always navigate to your downloads folder, going to your C drive, users, your name, and then it's right here. Next thing you want to do is right click the zipped file folder and select Extract All. And hopefully you have a class folder. I would extract it into somewhere you know, and it's good to stay organized. So I've started a Geology 234 folder. So I'm going to do week 3 and then select that folder. And if you haven't created a folder, you can right click and new and folder. But for now, I'm going to just select that folder and then select extract. And note that I don't even have ArcPro open yet. So it's best to do this without even starting ArcPro so you don't get confused. You don't have to add a folder in ArcPro and then refresh it in case it's been added after you started the ArcPro. So this is the recommended best practice. And then just like that, it's downloaded and extracted into the week 3 folder. The next step is starting an ArcPro project. So I'm going to search for ArcGIS Pro. There it is. And I'm going to start a blank project. And I'm going to save this project within that week 3 folder that I created for this class. So I'll select map. And then I'm going to navigate to, not on OneDrive, it's on my C drive. So this PC. So your local drive in front of you is called the C drive, and that's going to be your local C drive. You may have like OneCloud or other external flash drives connected. So you can save your project wherever you'd like. My recommended best practice is to save it on the C drive, the local disk, and then upload it to a OneDrive after the fact. So you could zip the whole file, the whole folder, project folder together, and then upload it to OneDrive. Okay. Create a folder for this project. Sure, I'm going to create a folder so everything that I do in this ArcPro is going to be saved in that folder under week 3. And it's called, I'm going to just call this Lab 3 Composite Bands. Okay. And so I have my contents on the left, my catalog on the right. Now I'm going to connect to the week 3 folder because it has my data in it. So I'm going to go up 1 folder and connect to week 3. So I saved this project folder in week 3, but there's other things that I need in week 3, and so it's not shown under the project folder. So I got to connect to week 3, and then now I see my data. Okay, so I have the 11 bands at the top here of data that we're going to use in today's lab. I'm going to add all of them to the map. Oh, to do that, I clicked on the top, you hold down Shift, and then you click the bottom file, and that'll select all the files from where you clicked at the beginning to where you clicked at the end. And this could take a while. These are large files, raster data sets that I'm adding to the map. So now that my bands are loaded into ArcPro, I'm going to reference the USGS website to gather information about the 9 spectral bands, 1 through 9, and then the 10 and 11 bands that are thermal infrared sensor bands. And so you can do this, and I'll provide the links on Canvas, but so we're looking at Landsat 9 data today. Landsat 8 and Landsat 9 have the same band information. This is a great resource for finding out information about the specific bands and even about the sensors as well. So the instruments on board Landsat 9 are improved replicas of those currently collecting data on board Landsat 8. So that's why a lot of the times on Earth Explorer, Landsat 8 and 9, you can download simultaneously because it has the same band information. Okay, so back to USGS website. Here I have the 9 spectral bands, and I want to look at the spatial resolution. So bands 1 through 7 have the same spatial resolution of 30 meters, and then band 8 is 15 meters. So and band 9 is 30. But for today's lab, we're just going to make a composite of bands 1 through 7, and we'll leave out 8, 9, 10, and 11. 10 and 11 are thermal infrared spectral bands, and so they also have a spatial resolution of 100. So we just want to make a composite raster layer with bands of the same spatial resolution. So let's go back to Arc Pro. And I have all the bands here, but I'm going to remove bands 8 through band 11. So shift and click the bottom and the top, right click, select remove. And now I'm seeing bands 1 through 7. And so I want to make a composite. So I'm going to click the bottom one, hold down shift, click the top, and you just want to highlight the ones that you want to make a composite of. And then here's your ribbons up here. Go up to imagery. And then under process, click composite. And in seconds, it'll make a composite layer of all the bands that you highlighted. And by default, it selects the bands for you, but we're actually going to select the bands ourselves now that we have a better understanding of the band types and which band should go into which RGB slot. So let's click on composite layer, right click and click symbology. And then by default, it selected band 1 as red, band 2 as green, and band 3 as blue, but we want to change that. So we're actually looking at San Luis Obispo here. Oh, I think I'm a little too far north. Let me zoom out again. Here we go. Here's San Luis Obispo, and I see there's a bit of cloud coverage, so maybe next time I want to find imagery that doesn't have as much cloud coverage. But for today's lab, this works just fine. So the purpose of today's lab is to make different composite combinations. The objective is to at least make 2, one natural color, so what looks like what you'd see in the real world, and one false color combination, which I've talked about in the lecture. And again, we're going to reference, you can Google and find a lot of information online about common Landsat band combinations for Landsat 8 and 9. And also the USGS website has information about this as well, and my lecture slides. So natural color consists of band 4, 3, and 2. That means in the red slot is 4, in the green slot is 3, and in the blue slot is 2. So let's do that to make natural color. 4, 3, 2. And see how this looks, how you would see in the real world, or if you looked on an atlas or a photo. This represents a kind of a natural color according to how our eyes would see it. And so you could take a screenshot of this. I'd like your name in the top right to be shown in the screenshot. So to do a screenshot is Shift, Windows, S. And if you're on a Mac using a different software, it's going to be something different, but you can always use the snipping tool. And then let's just take our screenshot. I'm not going to have you produce a map for today. Okay, so that's the natural color, and we're going to change the band combination to infrared. So again, let's reference our common Landsat band combinations. The combination that results in infrared emphasis is going to be Landsat 8, 9, 5, 4, and 3. So let's go back to Arc Pro, and for the red band, we're going to select 5, the green band 4, and the blue band 3. And here is infrared. So where there's a lot of plants, that's going to be highlighted in mostly red. And this will kind of follow a lot of the concepts that I talked about in our lecture. And so you could take a screenshot of this, and for the remainder of the lab, I encourage you to just go through and look at the different band combinations. The objective of the lab assignment is to make at least 2 different band combinations. You could do natural color, infrared, which is considered a false color combination, and then submit 2 screenshots, and there's questions to answer as well for this lab assignment. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you next week.